what are the 3 tips that I want to give you for today, right? How do you master the fundamentals of coding? Before making any important, significant decision of your life, first ask yourself, why are you taking that decision?
Playing from 38.
Hey everybody, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Awesome. Hey guys, good evening. It's 11 o'clock right now. We'll begin at 11:05. Good evening, Jay. Awesome. So today we have a, hey Ronak, welcome again. So today we have a low participation looks like, which is okay, because we have another couple of events going on. So probably that's why we have a low participation today. But no matter, today's session is going to be interesting. We will actually play around with cloud solutions. We'll actually get to see what they are. So hopefully we'll actually learn a lot today. Even though the participation is low, that's fine. But in the interest of others joining in, we'll wait for a few minutes. But in the meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll share my screen. If Ayush, if you can make me the co-host.
Sure, sir. Just a second.
Awesome. Good evening, Lasya. Good evening, Saroj. Good evening, Sankalp. Many of you are back again. Welcome. How are you all? Doing well?
Sir, I personally received a lot of messages from the people last time. Like, because since without informing anyone, we didn't have a session last time. So that's why.
Yeah. I know. So last time was a gap because I had to go through a small dental surgery. Uh, so I skipped the last session. But today I'm back again, and next session will be our last session. So yeah, but today, in my opinion, is going to be an interesting session because it's actually we're going to play around with the cloud and hopefully get to know. Uh, in the meanwhile, can all of you please go ahead and introduce yourselves? Just your name and where you're from, as we. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to all of you. And what I will do is I will awesome. So I have my chat window here. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, a lot of familiar faces. Welcome back. Those who are coming again. Today we have a low participation, looks like, but no matter. We will discuss a very interesting topic today, right? So, Ashwin, good evening. Welcome again. Pratishruti, welcome again. Abhishek, welcome again. Sankalp, welcome. Ronak, welcome. Jay, Tulsidas, welcome. Lasya, welcome. Saroj, welcome. Saurav, welcome. I think a lot of familiar faces today. So today we want to keep it very interactive and very interesting, right? Because we have a very interesting topic. I consider it very, very interesting. But before that, right, I'll also introduce myself. This is Pramit, and a hardcore software engineer with almost 12 years in the industry, first 10 in Microsoft in different teams, and now with Amazon as a software architect in the fintech team, right? So today's agenda is this. We want to have a revision, a very brief revision of what we discussed last time. So last time, we discussed quite some interesting things, right? And then today we want to also play around with the cloud. We want to actually create some compute resources like we also created last time. If you remember, we created a web app, right? We also want to play around a little bit with some networking resources, understand a little bit. We also want to play around with some storage solutions in cloud. And what that will enable, in my opinion, as opposed to theoretically studying it, once you actually see things in action, you will retain them more for a longer term, right? So that's the intent of actually going into it and playing around. And then we'll cover, as part of compute, we'll very briefly cover what is serverless computing, and maybe many of you know that already. Okay, so I think this is the agenda for today. Sure, yeah. So I think let's do this. Okay. Sure. And with this, right, I also, let's go back to what our previous session was, right? A quick recap. So we understood what are the basics of cloud. And when we understood what are the basics of cloud, right? If any of you who had not attended that session, we have a recording uploaded here in YouTube. Feel free to go and check out. So what did we do in that session? We understood what a data center means. What really resides inside a data center, right? And what are different types of cloud solutions: compute, networking, storage, right? Which we will also look at today in more detail. Then we also went ahead and actually deployed one of our demo web app to the cloud, which some of you went and saw that it was accessible on the internet. And we then also changed some placeholder code so that, and then redeployed it to the cloud so that our changes were visible in the cloud, right? So guys who are joining in right now, welcome. I see Dipanshu and others. So sorry again for not being able to host the session last time around because I had a small dental surgery. But today we are back again, and next time also we will host a session, right? Which is going to be our last session. So we are recapping our last session, which was an interesting session around the basics of cloud. And if you were not able to attend, feel free to go and see the recording of the last session. It will obviously not be as interesting as the live session, but it will definitely not be boring. And one of my dear friends is hosting another session tomorrow. Rahul, he is a serial entrepreneur. He is going to be talking about his entrepreneurship story. And I am also planning to attend that session. If possible, I'm not sure whether I'll get time for that. But if possible, I definitely will. And if you are interested in startups, like if you have that kind of mind, feel free to join that session as well. It's going to be an interesting one, in my opinion. So serial entrepreneur and a very good friend of mine, right? With very rich industry experience around startups. Okay, so if you remember last time's session, this is what the inside of a data center looks like. And inside all these racks, what are there? Anybody who was there in last session? Inside all these racks, these fridge-like structures which are called racks, what are there? Anybody who was in the last session? Please respond in the chat box. Servers, very good. Very good. So there are different types of servers also, right? What kind of servers were there? Different types of devices are there. What different types of devices are there? Anybody? So there were different types of servers, right? Different types of machines. What different types of machines were there? Some are like CPUs, right? Very good. Saurav, awesome. So Saurav is in compute, storage, etc. right? And some networking devices as well, like routers, switches, right? So different types of devices are there, right? Computing, I'll just have a quick recap. Computing is nothing but like a RAM. Inside of your CPU, there is a RAM, there is a hard disk, and there are some network adapters, network drivers, network devices, and interfaces, and so on, right? So similarly, just similar to RAM is a computing device, which we'll see what that does today. We will actually play around with it today, right? Then there is storage, like for storing your data, like for deploying databases of different types, right? So you need storage devices, which are nothing but just like your hard disk, but of much larger scale. Similarly, networking devices for routers and switches, firewalls, right? There are different types of routing device, networking devices as well. So there are different types of, so this is what a data center looks like. Awesome. Thanks for responding, Ashwin, Abhishek, Saurabh. Right. So, and we also saw that the back side of the devices look like this. So they're all connected, right? So if I'll go to my whiteboard now, let's have that discussion again, understand? See, so let's say this is a rack. Inside a rack, there were multiple devices. Let's say these are all processing devices, right? Just like your RAMs, where you can host a lot of websites, web apps, right? All those sorts of things. We will actually deploy all those things today in the actual Azure portal or AWS portal. We have both. So, and these were connected. So let's say this is the whole cloud, right? Let's say this is a data center. So these were all connected. Let's say this is another compute rack. So these were all connected, like the wires that you see in the picture that I showed before this, right? So there were wires coming out, and all those wires were connected to some sort of network devices, which is nothing but a router, right? Similarly, there are multiple routers, so there are multiple such racks. So those fridge-like structures are called racks. They are connected to, so there are multiple routers throughout the data center, right? And all those routers are connected. And then they're also connected to the external world through routers again. And this is external world, right? So this is all external world. So when, and let's say you are here, you have opened your laptop. This is you opening your laptop, right? So when you are, so when we will today play around with cloud, right? So how will our, let's say, my machine will be deployed. When we deployed a website, if you remember, it was, let's say, deployed here in this machine. So we deployed, let's say this is me. When I am deploying a website, the packet goes through many routers and reaches that machine. So this is how networking inside a cloud looks like. I'll pause here for any questions that you have. So we will also configure, actually play around with networking. You will see networking in action. We will configure something called virtual networks. So if you remember, we talked about virtual networks, right? So let's say this is one of my VMs, VM1, virtual machine 1. I can create another virtual machine 2, and I can connect them to a network. So when I connect, there will be some sort of a switch, virtual switch. This is not a real switch, this is a virtual switch. And this whole thing is called a virtual network. We will actually create these today. You will see, right? Similarly, this is virtual network 1, let's say you can create. Similarly, you can create virtual network 2, which will, let's say, have multiple virtual machines, right? Virtual machine 3, virtual machine 4. We will do all of this today, right? And virtual machine net 1 cannot connect with virtual network 2 directly. Then if you want to actually you want this machine to be actually be able to talk to outside world, then you will host a public IP address. We will also see that today. So public IP address, because public, all these local, you will by default, you'll get a local IP address. You will not get a public IP address. But if you want to connect with the external world, then you will have to get a public IP address, but that will cost you some money, right? So it will actually give you a public IP address. Okay. Okay. So, okay. So I'll halt here. Any questions till now, guys? Anything at all? Any question? Feel free to ask. Okay, Sankalp is asking a question related to networking. Can we connect two computers on two different networks and access data on both? No. So this is a virtual network you are creating. That means you want these virtual machines to be connected with each other. But this by default cannot be connected with another virtual network. But because let's say you have made this public, public means this is accessible over the internet. So this guy, this VM can come through the internet to reach this guy, because this guy is public. This guy is visible to everybody in the world because it has a public IP address, right? So, so this virtual machine is accessible from anywhere, from this virtual machine, from this virtual machine, from your laptop, from your friend's laptop, from everybody, right? Because you have made it publicly available. Awesome. Abhishek is asking a very good question where VPN stands in the whole picture. VPN is virtual private network, right? VPN is virtual private network. What that means, what that is basically let's say you have one network, right? Let's say you are creating this network, and you want this network to be accessible through a tunnel to another network or to a set of people, right? So then what you would do there in that case is you would deploy a server called VPN server, virtual private network server. And by default, there are physical VPN servers also, and there are virtual VPN servers also, right? So let's say in your network, you deploy a virtual private network, then people can actually access your network through that tunnel. So basically, if you don't understand tunnel, never bother. Basically, your network, like so let's say So what will, by the way, what is meant by VPN? What is accessible? Let's say you give access to VPN. So this guy is nothing but a credential. This guy will host some credentials, basically, right? So you will say, you will give some sort of credential to, let's say, 2 guys. Then they can connect to the VPN server and access the resources in your network. Okay, so that is meant by VPN, and that is when you don't want any random person to be able to access your network. But then VPN server will also cost you money, because VPN server is also public, and it will cost. Okay, again, any question? Abhishek, did I answer your question? Awesome, thank you. Any other question at this point of time? So guys, for those who are joining new, I'll basically call out that we are recapping last year's session where we discussed the basics of cloud, and we are discussing what are virtual networks, what are virtual machines, what are compute resources, right? Which we will actually go and look at today in the portal. Okay. Any question here? Okay, so if there are no questions, let's go straight right to the cloud. Let's see what do these cloud interfaces look like, right? Are they, we'll take a look at Azure, we'll take a look at AWS, which is from Amazon, right? So two most popular cloud providers. And like I told you last time, you can go and create free accounts in both of them. In fact, in GCP, Google Cloud also, right? And they will ask your credit card details. You can give them, but they will not charge you anything at all until you explicitly go and ask them to choose them to charge. Otherwise, they'll not charge you anything at all. And they will give you lots of credit. I think in Azure, it's like 30-some thousand credit rupees. And in AWS also, it's pretty hefty credit, right? So like lots of thousands of bucks for credit, where you can create paid services and play around with them, right? So we will take a look at that as well. So at this point of time, any question at all about cloud, about compute, storage, right? Any question at all? Feel free to put forward. Okay, so if there are no questions, I'll assume there are no questions, but guys, feel free to ask any question anytime, right? But I hope you can see my screen now, right? So I have logged into my Azure portal, portal.azure.com, right? You can go here and create your free account and play around with a lot of things. And in fact, whatever I'm doing today, you can go do that in your account, right? Similarly, we will also take a look at AWS. This is AWS portal. Let's go to AWS portal. So we'll take a look at both. But before we take a look at, right, let's ask a question from last session. So guys, what are compute resources? Does anybody remember what are compute resources? What are compute resources? So guys, what are compute resources? I want to, okay, virtual machine. Saurav is saying good. Any other compute resource that anybody can think of? RAM, CPU, hard disk. Okay. Okay. So Dipanshu, compute we discussed last time. It's not hard disk. Hard disk is storage. CPU is is like sort of like mix of all, but RAM is like compute resources. But there can be different types of compute, different types of RAM use cases, right? To take an example, you can create a virtual machine. You can create a Lambda or a serverless concept. We will see what that is, right? Or you can create an app. That's a compute resource, right? So if I go and here see, if you can see my screen, let me create a resource in Azure. If any of you have created Azure account after last session, hosting a website, Abhishek, that's correct. So those are all compute resources, but the website ka server part is the compute part. Website can also have database underneath, which is the storage part. Website can have multiple services behind the server, multiple servers, and the way those servers are connected with each other, that's the networking part. But the initial server that we create for a website is an example of a compute. Now see, so what I am doing here is I'm trying to create a new resource in Azure, right? So these are all the categories, if you can see. I hope you guys are able to see my screen. On the left side, you see there are so many categories. If I select compute, you will see reserved VM instances, Kubernetes is nothing but a container management service. Service Fabric is again sort of a container management service, right? But the concept is slightly different. It's a cluster of containers or VMs where you can manage multiple services. That's the concept of Service Fabric. Okay, then function app. So this is serverless concept that I was talking about, right? So we will discuss this in a little bit. And there are so many, right? So we are just looking at a few, but then there could be more. Okay, so see all, if I do, I'll see a lot of different compute machines, right? So let's create one. Which one shall we create? Guys, whatever you propose, we'll create that. Okay, Abhishek is suggesting virtual machine. Let's go ahead and create it. So what is a virtual machine, right? Ashwin will also create a function app after this, right? So let's say, what is a virtual machine? Virtual machine is nothing, but you will see once I select it. I am selecting it, but it's not getting selected. Okay. So virtual machine is nothing like your laptop you can think of, right? Just like your laptop. And it will have primarily some, exactly, in fact, just like your laptop. You'll see when we configure, like, you'll feel like you're actually buying a laptop. See, so this is my subscription, which is a paid subscription. So you may not get all these options, but you'll pretty much get all this. Interface will remain common, right? So let's select some demo resource group. Don't get confused by subscription resource group, not important for now. Okay, virtual machine name. So what do I want to name? Because this is, let's say, recommended by Abhishek. So Abhishek Agrahari. Agrahari, is that how you read it? I hope you read it like that. Okay, so let's say this virtual machine name is that. Okay. And region, South India, let's say. Availability zone. If you don't know what an availability zone is, never mind. So basically in one region, let's say South India is a region, right? Inside which there are multiple availability zones. Let's say one data center is actually one availability zone. Let's say one availability zone is in Hyderabad, one availability zone is in Pune, one availability zone somewhere else, right? So there are, you can, in the same region, you can pick multiple availability zones. Why? It is because, let's say, something wrong happened in the Hyderabad data center, some outage happened, but your Pune server will still run if you deploy multiple services in different availability zones. Okay. Okay. So now what do you are buying a laptop, right? What image do you want? Sorry. What image do you want? Yeah, do you want a Windows Server one? Do you want a Windows 10 Pro? Do you want a Debian? Do you want a Linux, right? Ashwin is saying Ubuntu. So let's go with Ubuntu. Ubuntu server, it will create for you, right? Size, see, this is the size that I have selected 8 GB memory. It will be costing me 6,513 per month. It has 2 virtual CPUs and 8 GB memory. It is going to be costing me 6,513 per month. Pretty expensive, but still worth it. Why? Why is it still worth it? Anybody? Why is it still worth it? And obviously, normally you will not use it, right? Because a regular, let's say, this 8 GB memory, you will probably get, I don't know, for 50K probably, right? But here for that, for every month, you will be paying 6,000, but I'm staying in some, exactly, Ashwin is saying no physical component. Good. Another, Saurav has hit the nail, right? High availability. Your laptop will not be always on. If your laptop crashes, it crashes. You have to go and repair it. But this guy will always be on. So if you want to actually run a service, right? A server, a website, so you will have, you should go and host it here. And this will, moreover, can be made publicly available. Your laptop cannot be made publicly available, right? This can be made publicly available. This will always remain on. It will never go down as opposed to your laptop. This will, if it crashes, Azure's responsibility is to replace it with a new VM, right? So, right. So username, I don't mind whatever, and key pair name, whatever, right? Public inbound ports, allow selected ports. That's fine. Review and create. So next, right, we can select disks also. Like when you are when you're buying a laptop, they ask you, hey, do you want SSD? Do you want HDD? Do you want these kind of storages, right? So you can select all of that, right? Premium SSD, HDD, whatever you can select, just like when you're buying a laptop, you do, right? Okay, similarly, networking. Networking may, you are not just buying your laptop, you are actually connecting it to a network also, right? You may buy multiple laptops, like in my diagram, when I was drawing, I was showing multiple VMs, right? So you can actually buy multiple VMs and connect them to one or more networks. So see here, what I am doing is, here it is creating a new demo resource group, VNet. It is creating a new, right? So it's creating a new network, virtual network for me. It is creating a new subnet, virtual subnet for me. It is in fact also allocating me a public IP also, which I'll pay for. Or I can say, hey, I don't want to pay for this. I don't want a public IP because I don't want to access it from anywhere outside. Right? Let's give Abhishek a public IP, right? Whatever public inbound ports, you can allow selected ports and all of that, right? Accelerated networking will not go into, and all of that, right? Next is management and all. These are pretty basic stuff. There is no like concepts involved here. We'll just take a look and we'll move on. Yeah, so he's saying diagnostics, right? If something goes wrong, or how much memory is used, memory and all you will get by default. Those views will get by default. How much memory is being used in your machine, right? Just like when you go to your what's that called, where you can see memory and all those things. In Windows, yeah, what was called? I have not been using Windows for a while. What is that thing called? Where you see memory, CPU, and all. What is that called in Windows? Yeah, there is a task manager, right? Yeah, thank you for reminding. Task manager, right? So similar view you will get here also. You can see ki bhai, what was the memory usage, what was my my disk usage, right? Okay, and email and whatever else, right? So review and create. Let's review. What have we selected? How much is it going to cost us? In your free account, you may not get all these options, by the way, because I was getting this option of 8 GB and all, right? In your free account, you still can create it, but you will get the, if I remember correctly, you will only get an option of 0.5 GB. But for you to play around, that's good enough, right? So this is going to be costing me 9,000 rupees. sorry, 8.9 rupees per hour. So per month, it was showing me probably 6,000 rupees or so, right? Okay. So I can go ahead and create it. So if I just go ahead and create it, it will create. Let's go ahead and create it. Okay. So this is asking me to generate a new key value pair, new key pair using which I can access using SSH that machine, because it is publicly available. I can also SSH secure cell, right? I can run commands on it. Okay. So now we created a virtual machine in Azure. Any question? I'm sure there must be questions, right? What did you understand? What did you not understand? What is a virtual machine? I hope. So how many of you understood what a virtual machine is? Please respond in the chat box. How many of you understood what a virtual machine is? Thank you, Saurav, Ashwin, thank you. Anybody? Achha, how many of you didn't understand what a virtual machine is? Dipanshu, thank you. How many of you didn't understand what a virtual machine is? Abhishek, thank you. How many of you didn't understand? Feel free to. I'm not your teacher. I'll explain again. Okay. Thank you, Sankalp. Okay. Awesome. So so hopefully all of you understood what a virtual machine is, right? So let's go to our okay. So we'll go to our home again. In Azure, it is called virtual machine. Similarly, if you go to AWS, it is called EC2. Just the name is different. Concept is very, very same. In AWS, Amazon AWS, it's called EC2. Right? You can almost do the same thing. See, if I see in my account, right, there is one instance which is already running, but let's say we want to create a new instance of EC2, right? So we will go and create a new instance. How do you do that? Launch instance, right? Awesome. So here, see, it's showing Amazon Linux, AMI, or SUSE Linux, Red Hat, Ubuntu, right? So 64, let's select this one. And free tier, because my AWS account is free tier here. It's not a paid one. So in free tier, it's allowing me this one only. Just like in Azure, I told you to allow only one thing, right? In free tier, only 0.5 GB. Similarly here in AWS, in free tier, it's only allowing me this one. So let's go ahead and launch that. See, right? It has one virtual CPU, 1 GB memory. So AWS is allowing 1 GB memory for free, which is awesome, right? You'll get 1 GB laptop for free. And how awesome is that? Right? I can launch. No key pairs found. I need to choose an existing key pair, create a new key pair 1, whatever, download, right? And okay, and launch instance. See, it's now launching my free instance, 1 GB machine for free. Awesome, isn't it? So how many of you think it's awesome that you can actually get a 1 GB machine for free? How many of you think it's awesome? Right? So today you can go create your account and 1 GB RAM. That's correct, Abhishek. Yeah. But it's free, right? Okay. Awesome. Let's go back to Azure. Let's go back to home. So if you have any questions around VM or compute, somebody, I remember, I think Abhishek or somebody had said, let's create a function app also. Let's create a function app. This is serverless. We'll discuss what a serverless thing is, right? But any idea what a serverless thing is? What is serverless? We are creating a serverless thing here. It's called Azure function. But what is serverless? Any idea? Any guesses? So there are one type of compute resources called serverless. Like you must have heard of Docker, right? Very popular. That's serverless. Similarly, Kubernetes is a serverless management system, like Docker management, typically. Similarly, in AWS, if I go to my home, you will see ECS, Elastic Container Service. It is just like Kubernetes. It's a serverless Docker management or container management service that you can deploy. But before saying a Docker management service or container management service, what is a container, or what is this concept of serverless? Any idea? So there is something called a Docker container, right? So what initially I'll give you a context. Let's go into a little bit of history. So before, right, there was only virtual machine. Okay. Sankalp is taking a guess. Cloud computing model. It is one of the cloud computing models. Yes. But virtual machine, what did you see? It had everything, right? It has a proper operating system. It had everything like which your laptop has. That is virtual machine, right? But there is a problem with that. The problem is that it is very heavy. Like, because the whole operating system is there, so you have to go and manage that operating system. What do I mean by that? That if there is a security patch, you need to do. If there is some process which is running as part of operating system, which is failing, which is crashing, you will face problem, right? So because the operating system is a very, very heavy notion in itself. So somebody came up with this concept called containers. So it is nothing but a very lightweight operating system, if you will. It's actually not operating system, very lightweight management system, you can say. So it will, the lightweight layer will only manage your resources. But the actual delegation of the operating system, like what does operating system do? It does like process scheduling of your processes, management of threads, management of processes, management of networking resources, all of that, right? Management of storage. So all of that. So all of that will be taken away from your container, because you don't need to worry about all of that as part of managing your service. Let's say I want to host a website. Why do I want to care about operating system? Why do I want to care about whether it is Windows 8, Ubuntu or whatever? I'm saying here, whatever it is, just run my service, right? That's good enough, right? So Docker is very, by the way, Docker is also aware of some of these operating systems. It can be, but it's a very, typically, by the way, it's Linux aware. Typically, Docker is Linux aware, but it's very, very lightweight that way, right? So the operating system overlay is very lightweight. You don't have to manage anything. You just have to say, hey, this is my Docker, this is my image, deploy my service inside that. And that image you can transfer anywhere. So there is a concept of image also, right? Which you can leverage here, something called ECR. ECR service is the, this container registry, Elastic Container Registry, ECR in AWS. Similarly, there are services in Azure also. So let's go and create such thing like this. So it is saying Docker container. Let's select a Docker container, right? Function app name. What do you want to say? Who was the person who suggested Docker? Please respond on the chat box, please. Ashwin. So let's say Ashwin Docker, Ashwin function app service 1, right? Central US may you want to deploy, or do you want to deploy in, let's say, India somewhere? So I will, on behalf of you, I'll choose India, let's say, right? Why India? Because it will be faster. US may you can deploy, but from here, if you access, it will be slightly slower. So let's go and review and create. That's it, right? You can create a serverless right away. But the problem with serverless is There's some validation fail. A resource group I didn't select. Why? Okay. Okay. So what is the difference, by the way, right? Okay, application insight resources are in different regions. Okay. Previous looks like application insights. I have to select. I don't want application insights. Okay. So, do we interact with Dockers by using command lines only, or how do we interact with it? Very, very good question. Very good question. So what is this concept of serverless, right? So let's go a little back and understand that. Let me share my whiteboard again. Let's understand what is this interesting concept of serverless, right? So server mein we are saying you will get a server, right? You will get a server where you can host a REST service, right? Or HTTP service, basically a web service, right? Your web service is hosted and you will do something. You can host your own code here, right? That I have written. I have written code for, this is my website, which is a student management, right? So I have code written for adding a student, deleting a student, editing a student. So I have code and maybe I am interacting with some database. So this is your server. Now, if you were to implement this exact same thing using serverless, now what is the benefit of serverless, by the way? There are multiple benefits of serverless. Thus, this, if you, just like you created a VM will be running all the time, right? VM will be running all that Ubuntu that you created, it will be costing you 6,000 some bucks. But if you just created now serverless, I will represent by a Lambda. The same function is called Lambda in AWS. If I go to AWS, it's called Lambda, right? In Azure, it's called Azure Functions. Like we were creating a function app, right? So what is this Lambda or function? That it is just a code. It is just a code container. That's it. You are saying my code you can deploy here, but there is no concept of service or anything. So you have to deploy something. It is called an API gateway. API gateway is also another service in Azure and AWS both, right? And then your request will actually come to API gateway. API gateway will internally route it to Lambda. Similarly, Lambda you can use because this is just running some code. That's it. Lambda is plain simple, very simple. It will just run some code, but somebody will have to call it. Either API gateway can call it, or some database can also call it. You can say, hey, anybody, when somebody stores anything in my database, call a Lambda. You can do that also. There are queue service like SQS, simple queue service. These are queues, right? Whenever any message comes into my SQS, call my Lambda, right? Where your code is hosted, right? So this is called serverless. But this exact same thing, like hosting your website, you can also do by doing this in serverless also. So the advantage is that the serverless will not always be on. API gateway will always be on, but API gateway will not cost you much because it will only cost you based on how many requests you get, right? But this will be turned on only when there is a request. So it will take some time, a few seconds. So there will be a latency, but it will save a lot because this will always be on. This is going to be costing you 7K for 8 GB. We saw that, right? But if I deploy the same thing, it will cost me like a fraction of that. And it will, in fact, if nobody sends you any request, it will cost you 0. If you get like 100 requests in your service, you will get something, maybe a few hundred rupees. So that way it's very, very cheap, right? Okay, I'm still getting some error here. I don't know why that is. Let's go back. Why am I getting an error? SKU and a plan type. Okay. Linux. See, Docker is by default giving only in Linux. Do you see? Storage account. Okay, it's creating a new storage account, which is a third type of solution, storage, which is database or storage account or Cosmos DB. We will go into that. We have not gone into that, but we will, right? But what is the problem here? Why is it not able to create? Review and create. Okay. The template deployment Microsoft Web Function App Portal, this is not valid according to the validation procedure. Okay. What is that? I don't know. Let me, so this, I'm facing some error here, but let's go to my home. I'll just show you some other function app which I might have created in the past. Function app. See, these are all so many resources that I have created, right? Have I created any function app? Function app. Okay. Okay. Looks like function creation is giving me some problems right now. Acha, okay, sure. Sankalp, sorry man. Thank you for telling me. I thought that I'm sharing the other one. Let me share that. Thank you. Thank you. So I was creating a function app here, right? That was giving me some error. And thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate that, Sankalp. Here, right, I was just looking at all my resources here. And okay. So looks like I don't have any function app created. See, these are public IP address, virtual machine, network security group, app service plan, virtual network, app service, right? App service, SQL service, network watcher, app service, right? But looks like my function app was failing for some reason. That's fine. So any question at this point of time before we go to storage solutions in cloud? Any questions at this point of time? So we went through compute resources, right, and briefly through networking resources. So we saw virtual machines and we saw Azure functions or AWS Lambdas, which are serverless compute. So any question? Okay. Ashwin is saying I'm still not clear about function apps and serverless. Okay. So Ashwin, I'll summarize it in one line for you. What is meant by serverless is remember in VM, you had to manage your server because you are installing Ubuntu in it. You are saying 8 GB. You are saying all of that, right? So you are managing your server. You are getting a full server. That is why it's server full. It's not serverless. Okay. But in Lambda or function, you are not specifying any Ubuntu, anything. It's by default, it's selecting some Linux version, right? And you don't have to deal with the operating system or any server. So you are not getting any server that you can remote desktop into or anything. There is no server. There is some container, Docker container, inside which your code will run. And that's it. So you will only deal with your code. And you can still SSH using a public IP. That's fine. You can do that. But there is no server for you to manage. There is no operating system for you to manage. There is no security patch that you have to install. There is nothing really of that sort. Am I still making sense? Ashwin? Okay. Thanks. So any other question here around compute resources? Feel free to ask any question that anybody has. Okay. So if not, we will go to, let's see, another type of resources. So what should we go to? Shall we go to storage? Type of resources? Where is storage? This is storage, see? Or do you want to go to networking? And there are so many other types, see? Storage is there, then additionally they have put databases just to allure you, right? Then there are developer tools, like you can create your Git repos and all. You can manage your code, right? Chef Automate, application insights, API management, right? Lots of developer tools. There are lots of solutions in cloud. AI and ML solutions, right? Machine learning, you can create your own models, right? Abhishek is asking what type of computation is done by these virtual machines. Abhishek, in these virtual machines, right, you can deploy anything. Like if you remember, last time we created this web, I'm going to web, right? And we created a web app. Where is web app? Yeah, web app. We created a web app, right? So it is something called PaaS, platform as a service, like we discussed, if you remember. Virtual machine is infrastructure as a service, but you can run anything in your virtual machine. You can deploy any code. You can run any process. You can also log in into that. You can SSH into that. You can remote desktop into that. You can run. You can go into that and install processes. Just like whatever you can do in your laptop, you can pretty much do everything in that virtual machine. Does that answer your question, Abhishek? Okay. Sure. Any other question around compute? Then what do we want to go and play around with? Do we want to play with storage, which will be like databases, data lakes, and all of that? Or do we want to go into networking? What do you guys pick? Whoever picks first gets to choose. Networking, Abhishek. Okay, fine. So let's go to networking. See, what is networking? If you remember, we can create a virtual network. We can create a load balancer. We can create an application gateway. I was talking about application gateway, right? In that serverless thing, right? Similarly, there are virtual WAN. WAN is wide area network. Just like LAN is there, virtual network is virtual LAN. This virtual network, right, is virtual LAN, local area network. And WAN is like you are creating a virtual, like a public network. WAN is nothing but internet. Internet is a WAN, wide area network. Local area network is what is there inside your home, right? Inside your hostels. Those are all local area network. As in there are a bunch of machines which can talk to each other, right? But they cannot. They can talk to outside world only if there is a public router, not otherwise. Like your Wi-Fi router, right? That your internet provider has given you, that's a public router, or that is connected to a public router. Okay, let's go create a virtual network. Let's see what that looks like. Ashwin, can we know about artificial intelligence? So there are some artificial intelligence solution available in cloud, right? So whatever you wanted to do otherwise, there are lots of softwares and all, right? So you can leverage cloud also for, instead of going and installing or using your own software, there are a lot of artificial intelligence or machine learning related resources in cloud also, so that you can directly use from here also. Okay. So let's go to some random resource group name. Let's say Abhishek, right? V virtual network, something in South India, right? Review and create. See, it will create. It is giving a default address. It's some random address. You can change it because it's a local address. This address is visible only locally. This address is not visible outside the public. This is not a public address, right? So it could be anything, doesn't matter. And this virtual network is not publicly visible at all. Virtual networks are never visible publicly. If you want any of these machines, which is connected to any of these virtual networks, to be available publicly, you need to get a public IP address, okay, or an API or an application gateway. Okay, Rahul, are you asking anything? Because you unmuted yourself, so feel free to ask if you have, or otherwise you can mute yourself. Okay, so you can go and create a virtual network this way. So this is how a virtual network. Let's go back. Let's see some other networking concepts. Load balancer. Does anybody know what a load balancer is in networking? Any idea what a load balancer is? So a load balancer is basically a mux, a multiplexer or something like that, right? So what happens if, let's say you have 3 servers, the same 3 servers, right? You have deployed, let's say, because let's say Saurabh, exactly. Let's say Saurabh hosted his service called student chat service, but students started to use his service so much that he had initially deployed just one service, but it started to crash because it started to get so many requests, right? So he bought one more and deployed it. He bought one more and deployed it. Now, but how will because his web app has something like Saurabh chat service.azure websites.com, right? So that is his website address. But how will the same website address, which was initially coming to only one machine, will now come to all these machines? Now this is 8 GB, this is 8 GB, this is 8 GB. Initially he was able to serve, let's say, 50 requests per minute. Now he can serve 50 plus 50 more, 150 requests per minute. But how will this same sort of chat service.azure come to all the service? Through load balancer. So you have to deploy a load balancer, right? And then you will say, behind my load balancer, keep all these 3 different instances. So the load balancer will automatically divide the load. Like some request it will send to service 1, some request it will send to service 2, and some other request will send to service 3. So this load balancer will basically balance the load, balance the total load to all your instances. And this is typically in all the public services that you see, right? There is typically a load balancer involved, always. Okay, any question around load balancer?
सर कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा।
अरे क्यों समझ में नहीं आ रहा है? पूछो अगर समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो। क्या समझ में नहीं आया बताओ, कौन था वो? अरे समझ में नहीं आया तो पूछो भाई, क्या हुआ? What do you want to understand? Tell. Okay, I'll repeat anyways, right? So let's say I bought one laptop. Just we created one virtual machine, right? I bought one laptop in Azure, which is deployed in Azure. So it was not sufficient. So I bought one more laptop. But now that I have 3 laptops, I want my website is hosted here. But I want traffic from this website to come to all these laptops, to be divided between all these laptops. So in that case, I will deploy something called as a load balancer. Okay, this is a virtual load balancer. This will automatically route my traffic. But if you still didn't understand load balancer, never mind. Never mind. It is some networking solution. One example of a networking solution that's there in the cloud. And you may not even have to use it. Okay. So at the end, we are almost getting to the close. But before closing, let's quickly take a look at storage or databases solution. So you can deploy a SQL database. You can deploy a MariaDB, right? You can deploy Azure database for MySQL, right? You can deploy a MySQL. This is Azure. This is MS SQL. The first one was MS SQL. This is MySQL, right? You can deploy MongoDB. You can deploy SQL Server, right? You can deploy a lot of things here, right? Azure SQL Managed instance. So a lot of different kinds of databases you can deploy. No need to get confused. Let's choose one to see what's the experience. So which one should we choose? Whoever chooses first gets to choose. So which MongoDB? Awesome. Two people, coincidentally MongoDB. Let's go and pick MongoDB, right? Which is sort of like a document DB. If you know what a document DB is, it stores like documents, right? Sort of like documents. So you will have an identifier and a document. As otherwise, there are SQL databases which store tables, like relational tables. If you understand relational tables, that's fine. If you don't understand, that's also fine. No problem. But MongoDB is something called a document DB sort of. So where we will see it's loading forever now. Let's see, hopefully it will load soon. So we can go and deploy it. It's very, very simple, right? Okay. So who was the first one? Ashwin. Actually, Ashwin we named already. Let's choose Sankalp this time. Sankalp MongoDB. Sankalp, we can create a MongoDB like this. Right? See, so it's saying, it's talking a little bit about pricing, right? So price, see, what's the price going to be? 1,51,000 per year. Ashwin, Sankalp, are you okay with it? 1,51,473. Want to pay? Okay, so let's see if we have a cheaper. See, there is a free tier also. What more do we want? 1,51,000. This is free tier. Let's go with free. We are free people, right? So let's go with free. Awesome. Okay. Sankalp is willing to go with free. Okay. Okay, I give Microsoft permission to do whatever. Let's do that. And phone number, okay. Want phone number also? Okay. And fine, let's doing that, right? So you can subscribe. So basically looks like this is some sort of subscription model. MongoDB instances are hosted in Azure by MongoDB Inc. This is not by Microsoft. This is by MongoDB Inc. If you can see here, but this is hosted in Azure and you can go and use it. Okay. So that's why all this extra stuff. While we were creating like Azure SQL or Azure VM, because those are Microsoft solutions. So all those things were not coming in, right? But because MongoDB is not from Microsoft, it is hosted by MongoDB in Azure. We're using MongoDB's service now. That's why they're asking all these details, right? So we can go and subscribe. Let's go and subscribe. Okay. So see, Sankalp, you are good to go here. Okay. So you can start to use MongoDB now. So I think that's it for today, guys. So we will take some questions and then we'll end it there. So guys, questions, anything related to cloud or even around what we played around with. Any question, feel free to let me know. Okay, so next session, which is going to be our last session in the Saturday night series, we had 9 sessions. This is the 9th session. Next session is the 10th session. So the next session is something that we talked about in detail, which is how can Indian students take big risks with little financial knowledge, right? So today the problem is we are aiming for big package, and what we are losing out there is we are not taking any risk. We don't know what we need. You don't know whether we need 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, or 5 lakhs, right? That's a big problem because you think that you need 20 lakhs, but you actually need 1 lakh. Now with 1 lakh, you could take a lot of risks, but you're not taking, right? So that's what we'll try to just discuss a little bit about how gaining a little bit financial knowledge will enable you to take lot of more risk, to follow your passion much more, right? As opposed to being on the mercy of recruiters. Okay. Abhishek is saying Happy Teachers Day. Thank you, Abhishek, and Happy Teachers Day to all of you as well. Sankalp is saying a brief idea about TCP/IP. TCP/IP is a networking concept. Sankalp, it is how your like I am saying something over Zoom and you are able to receive, right? So a lot of packets are going across the internet. It is using TCP, which is Transport Control Protocol underneath, which is the transport control. So there are 7 OSI layers, right? So one is transport layer, the above that is IP layer. IP layer is basically network layer, right? So network layer is IP, Internet Protocol, right? So we in fact in another session we looked at IP packets in detail, where we looked at IP header, then we looked at transport control header, and so on, right? So maybe you can go and look at that session's recording in the YouTube channel. You'll get much more information there. Does that sound okay to you, Sankalp? If not, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and I will share some resources with you. Okay, Abhishek, thank you. Sankalp, sure. Thank you. Saurav, thank you. Happy Teachers Day to you too.
Happy Teacher Day, sir.
Thank you. Great.
सर पार्टी कब दीजिए?
Virtual party हो सकता है, but what kind of real party do you want? Where are you? Where are you from? Are you, because I am from Hyderabad, so I don't know if you're Hyderabad. Drop by. We can definitely have a party anytime.
सर रांची सर.
रांची, अच्छा यार, रांची तो मैं गया हूँ शायद एक बार, पटना में रहा हूँ, लेकिन अब पार्टी के लिए रांची अब कहाँ जाऊंगा यार, बताओ.
यस सर, कभी मौका मिले तो.
बिल्कुल. Okay, guys. So, any questions, Sankalp? Thanks. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll share more resources. Any other question, or shall we call it a meet?
सर आपका कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर चैट बॉक्स में लिख देंगे.
Contact number, sure. 764. Sure. But LinkedIn is the most preferred channel, क्योंकि I know that you are approaching from a professional perspective, so I will professionally guide you there. On call, I may or may not pick, right? Because if I don't identify it, it might be a difficult decision. But LinkedIn is definitely, I'll definitely answer. There is no question on LinkedIn that I don't answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, any other question for me here, or shall we call it a day?
No questions, sir.
Okay, Behtareen. Thank you. Thank you, Saurav. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It's late today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you at least got to know something about what the cloud solutions look like, right? Go talk to you, whatever you learned, to your friends, right? And you will learn more that way. So there was, in fact, a session, how do you learn faster? So learn by teaching others, learn by discussing. And the least learning is from reading. So read, but read the least. Discuss more, teach more. So whatever you learned, whatever, 5 things, right? Go teach them to your friends. You will learn, you will remember it more. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining. That's it from me today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. If you want, you can leave. It was really an awesome session. Guys, I have shared all the necessary link with you in the chat box, so you can find there. And regarding the phone number, which some of you guys have asked about the sir, so he's not active on WhatsApp, so it will be better if you'll approach through LinkedIn profile. So I'm wrapping up the session in a minute, guys. Like you have 1 minute. If you have any question from me, like you can ask me, like I'll definitely answer just now, non-tech part especially, not in the tech version. So thank you, guys. Good night. Stay safe and be productive. Don't waste your time. Utilize the time wisely.
You also utilize your